Just a few kilometres outside of the Big Apple, New Yorkers can pick their own fruit. But climate change has taken the shine off this year's harvest. A frost in late spring led to smaller crops in some parts of the country like Wisconsin and Michigan. Farmers in New York State say quantity here is good, but huge amounts of rainfall mean apples could be less sweet. At this farm, their biggest problem is now the unpredictability of the weather.
What we see in the last couple of years are more heavier storms. For instance, our farm was hit with a hailstorm on July 6th this year at 5:50 p.m. Somebody said, oh, well, it was only 4 minutes. Well, if you have a hailstorm in an orchard, 30 seconds is too much. So our apples were damaged. We're seeing more events like that.
Here they're adapting by growing smaller trees. But climate change across the country has forced other farmers to take more drastic action.
Some farms have chosen not to let the public pick their own apples this year, while others are increasing prices. And cider makers are looking at ways of protecting their crops against climate instability.
Commercial apple growers are also being pressed by a labour shortage triggered by the COVID-19 pandemic.
We really require on a workable guest worker program in the United States for agricultural labor. And when the pandemic hit, a number of countries closed their borders. If you do not have the availability of a workforce, then the supply will be impacted. Consumers will see that in the price of food.
The shortage of workers is easing as coronavirus restrictions are being lifted in the US. But industry leaders say the guest worker program is in need of reform. Meanwhile, farmers say the long-term impact of climate change is the big unknown, but they'll keep looking for ways to adapt. Walton, CGTN, New York.